Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Himanshu Arora from Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. Today we are going to study a module titled Role of Stakeholders Toward Elderly from the paper Biosocial Gerontology. First, let's start with the learning objectives of the module. Through this module, you will be able to learn the concepts of aging. You will be able to know the framework agreement defining aging, and you will be able to know the problems faced by aged. You will be able to understand the role of stakeholders and their influence on aged. Now, we will give you a glimpse of the topic through a brief introduction. Senior citizens, or simply elders, as seen from a larger perspective, have a positive and substantial role in the society. Years of accumulated rich and varied experience enables them insight into persons, groups, or events. Elders often act as a binding force in the community as a whole. However, as they reach the evening of their lives, their capacities wane, and so the society has an obligations towards senior citizens. The status of the aged is high in societies in which there is high reverence for the worship of ancestors. The status of the aged is inversely proportional to the rate of social change. In primitive societies, when joint family system was the norm, old and young combined their wisdom and strength to guide and continue family. Elders were looked after and provided nursing care. However, in the contemporary times, force of commercialization, industrialization, modernization, traditional institutions, and values have lost salience, thereby adversely affecting the situation of elderlies. Therefore, there is a need to evolve a new and compatible set of social values and institutions, including services for the elderly. Now, we will describe you who are elderly. As this question arises, there is a lot of confusion. Old age is just a chronological age that tells every little about a person. These questions draw importance as physical and mental status of elderly vary from society to society. Their rich experience makes the elders an indispensable asset for the community, although they have passed their prime. In the United Nations Organization, the age of retirement is between 60 to 65 years. United Nations Organization has also defined countries with 7% population above 60 are classified as aging country. In India, according to census guidelines, a person is considered aged when he or she is above 55 years. Now, we will discuss the concept of aging. The concept is somewhat confusing. It is a frame of reference which may be a social, psychological, temporal, and cultural besides chronological. To a layman, elderly is characterized by a range of changes or conditions occurring in his life, like graying hair, stooping of gait, decline in productive activities, wrinkling of skin, use of bifocals, imposition of retirement by societies, etc. Unfortunately, these are generally negative stereotypes about the elderlies, which relate to physical and mental disorders. Biological aging refers to the physical changes in the body, like hearing loss, declining vision, accumulation of fat, and declining of muscle mass. Elders are generally branded unproductive, cautious, and asexual. Psychological aging somewhat is less established than physical effects. Loss of memory, learning, intelligence, skills, and motivation to learn are anticipated to decline. However, it is a very complicated process. Social aging includes values, roles, and norms that are culturally concomitant with a particular chronological age. It is widely held that aging is a state of mind. Aging comes about due to stress and strain accumulated through the successive phases of life. It is the final phase of life that results in one's disengagement from the main occupation and curbs one's autonomous status. The population of the aged is rising throughout the world, due to which concern and care for them have attracted global attention of the social scientists and governments. Gerontology is the science of aging. It came into being towards the first half of the 20th century. Geron means old man in Greek word. Now we will describe the factors affecting the elderly. There are several factors as shown in figure which affects the life and status of elderly. Some of these are modern education and modernization, educating sons and marrying daughters in later life, technological changes like urbanization and industrialization, materialistic and individualistic outlook, breakdown of joint family system is also common ownership of the property, high cost of living, paucity of accommodation in urban areas, employment of women, neglected children, additional economic responsibility of the elderly, migration of younger generation to urban areas. Now we will talk about problems faced by the elderly. As shown in figure, there are several issues an elderly faces. Some of these are physical problems such as disabilities and chronic illness coupled with lack of nursing and medical facilities. Economic problem such as lack of resources, employment or income, refusal to be maintained by children and being forced to sell property or forced to make changes in the will, psychological problems such as emptiness, loneliness, feeling of being unwanted, etc., emotional problems of being away from children and devoid of interaction with peer group, social problems arising out of loss of job, social status, spouse, group relationship, problems of abuse and physical violence, depression and anxiety of being bullied or pressurized, housing problems which push many elderly to seek solace in old age homes or need to spend time in daycare centers. With further development in science, better medical facilities, hygiene, nutrition, and public health, increasing number of people will survive to old age, thereby requiring more care and assistance. These may not always available be from their families due to them being occupied in more serious problem concerning themselves. Thus, the problems facing an elderly are multifaceted and it would require multi-pronged effort from all stakeholders of the society to provide support to them. Now, we will discuss various stakeholders and their role. Family. Elderly have built their family piece by piece during their prime of life. In the twilight of their life, they instinctively pine to be in its midst. In contemporary world, joint family is giving way to nuclear family. It is observed that joint families are comparatively better in providing care to the elderly. interpersonal relationships, especially with elderly, are reported to be greatly influenced by prevailing socio-economic conditions of the society. Emergence of nuclear family groups, family welfare planning programs putting much emphasis on small family norms is affecting elderlies. In such household, it is observed that husband and wife are working and the children attend schools, so an elderly pass time along during the day while in evening others are preoccupied or too exhausted in their routine to interact or spend time with them. Thus, it is quite common for many elderly to be feeling lonely or even isolated. On the other hand, in joint family system, the elders get to spend time with the grandchildren, helping them with their homework or just playing with them. In short, they bridge the gap between children and their parents. In the Indian culture, grandparents are the first best for many children with whom they can express themselves openly. Such relationship between grandparents and grandchildren in our culture helps in a number of ways, some of which are: firstly, it offers an occasion for both to learn new skills. It provides children and the elderly a sense of purpose. It aids children to grasp and later accept their own aging. It helps re energize and rejuvenate older adults. It also reduces the likelihood of depression in the elderly. Such interaction helps reduce the isolation of older adults. It also fills a void for children whose parents are occupied in work. It also helps to keep family stories and history alive. These are vital in inculcating family values. The grandparents, while giving them company, advises are being supportive in parent child relationships, helping when they need it and mediating any conflicts with the parents. Grandparents serve the function of friendship and companionship and solidarity. Elderly can imbibe young about the importance of values like solidarity, honesty, togetherness, helping behavior with the help of moral stories and by playing role models. They can also make the young aware of all the rituals and cultural heritage of their ethnic group as well as of India. Such teaching can help imbibing in the children a sense of pride of being a part of such a diverse cultural heritage. The older person can teach stories of their land by reciting folk songs and telling its meaning and value in their lives. They try to bring in their interest in a very small yet very peaceful activities like planting seeds, bird watching, walking on grass, etc. Grandchildren, on their part, try to make their grandparents more aware of the recent technology and their utility. On top of that, these children are given a broader outlook of the world around, the changes that has happened and how to manage those changes by staying away from selfishness and close to harmony and love. Hence, family and its environment plays a considerable role towards elderly and vice versa. Role of neighborhood and community. As older people are particularly susceptible to social isolation, it can be significantly mitigated through community interactions. During community gatherings, elderly enter into a relationship with others, share activities, and exchange ideas that tend to be socially meaningful and psychologically satisfying. In India, especially, presence of older persons are considered a must during rites and festivities. Younger generations still believe that their seniors' heartfelt blessing go a long way in helping the young to achieve what they desire in life. In some cases, neighborhoods may also provide invaluable support to elderly. Such interactions result in thawing of worries and frustration and further influence their thinking and behavior, helping them cope up amongst the adjustment within and outside home. Media, television, radio, newspaper, and magazines. The reach of print media is ever increasing and they serve a huge role in spreading news and views. Such means serve well to educate public opinion on issues of common concern. Elders also take keen interest to newspapers and magazines. However, its reach is limited to only those who are educated. This limitation is broken when it comes to radio and television. Radio and television not just educate but also provide entertainment to the masses at their doorstep. It is reported that radio and television are becoming highly popular with senior citizens as it can fill their unoccupied time commendably. NGOs and old age homes. There can be no substitute for family in one's life, and more so in the case of an elderly person. In India, the Friend in Need Society of Madras was the first organization started in 1840 which devoted itself for the care of the aged, and the Little Sisters of the Poor was the next organization in 1882 in Kolkata then. They opened a home and provided shelter, medical care, and clothing to the older persons. A directory of voluntary agencies for the welfare of the aged in India, compiled in 1982 by Care of the Elderly. Directory of voluntary agencies for the welfare of the aged in India listed 379 agencies working in this field, and most of them established after independence. In India, especially in rural areas, family is found to be playing vital role in taking care for elderly. Due to decreasing fertility and increase in longevity, aged population has increased many times more. Since it is not possible for government alone to take care of all the needs of the older population, non-government organizations have played a vital role to bridge the gap to a little extent, catering to rather small segments of the old age population. The term non governmental organization encompasses a vast group and organizations. The World Bank defines non government organizations as private organizations that pursue activities to relieve suffering, promote the interests of the poor, provide basic social services, protect the environment, or undertake community development. Non governmental organizations provide user friendly, affordable services towards elderly people. Some non governmental organizations run old age homes and daycare centers where elderly are admitted for a definite monthly charge. The government also visualizes promoting the non governmental organizations, hoping to have a continuous dialogue on issues of the aging in order to ensure better services. Older persons are further encouraged to organize themselves to help fellow older people. The place where the elderly are given institutional care and shelter is called old age home. In such places, the individuals are given formal care, which are services provided by members who are unrelated with the individual. Different types of old age homes are running in our country. Some are run by governments, some by non governmental organizations, charitable trusts, and philanthropists. The changes in the family, structurally and functionally, due to social crisis, conflict in family, problems of adjustment of the family elderly, the need for old age homes has risen in our country. Old age homes are a boon to such vulnerable elderly, especially the widowed who has no relatives to support them socially, financially, and emotionally. However, in such old age homes, the elderly lives an imposed lifestyle totally isolated from the mainstream of the society and the family, hence nobody would like to stay voluntarily in general. Having said that, there are also some elderly who enter old age home on their own choice as they value their self respect and do not want to be dependent on family members. Some individuals with financial security also choose paid homes where there is more freedom and luxury. The qualities of services provided in old age homes are not uniform, ranging from bare minimum of lodging and boarding facilities to provisions for medical services, though mostly at primary level, recreational and social activity. Government agencies. According to the United Nations organization, a country is defined as aging if the proportion of people above 60 years reaches 7%, and the World Health Organization in its report titled Aging in India estimates that by the year 2000 India will have exceeded this proportion, and by 2025 it would have reached 12.6%. Hence, India also qualifies as an aging country by that definition. The 2001 population census conducted by the Registrar General Government of India, the elderly person populations is estimated at 71 million and 114 million by the year 2016. This aging population put burden on the resources and the productivity of the country will go down. This presents an unprecedented issue for the Indian government. In the Indian Constitution, Article 40 of the Directive Principle of State Policy enjoins that the state shall, within the limits of economic capacity, provide for assistance to the elderly. The national policy on older persons, announced by the government in 1999, mandates state support for the elderly to shelter, welfare, and health care. The policy acknowledges the invaluable service older adults could render in the family and to the society. Article 125 of Criminal Procedure Code 1973 specifies the right of the parents without any means for maintenance to be supported by their children having sufficient means. The policy also seeks to provide affordable health services. Mobile health services, ambulances, and special camp are also envisaged so that healthcare facilities could reach the elderly. The government has started giving fair concessions to elderly in all modes of travel, entrance fees, and priority in telephone and gas connections, preferences in reservations of seat. In order to implement the National Policy for Older Persons, the National Council for Older Persons has been established in 1999 under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, with the Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment as the chairperson. Since central and state government activities and funding for the welfare of the elderly are limited, the role of voluntary agencies or NGOs in the care of older persons has become significant. In the 8th and 9th plan documents, the role of the voluntary sector in ensuring welfare to various segments of the population, including the elderly, has been emphasized. In 1983 to 84, the government for the first time decided to make grants to voluntary organizations for the services to the aged, such as healthcare, subsistence training, income generation, and constructing homes for the aged. Thus, many non governmental organizations have been supported from the budget outlays of the respective state governments. In November 1992, the Ministry of Welfare initiated a scheme called Welfare of the Aged. In order, encourages voluntary organizations through grant in aid assistance to provide old age homes, mobile, Medicare, daycare centers, and non-institutional services for older persons above the age of 60. We will summarize what we have studied till now. The problems of the elderly are manifold, especially when there is no family support. In spite of large number of non-government organizations, philanthropists coming forward to meet the growing needs of the aged citizen, there is still a large gap in demand and supply requiring further steps to create mechanisms for the appropriate and sufficient delivery of services. In order to expand provisions, balance geographical distribution, strengthen capacities, critically evaluate functioning of different programs, involvement of community is vital in taking care of the aged. There is a need to sensitize people, particularly the young ones, to the issue of aging. At the same time, there is a need to set up an agency to synergize and coordinate the different activities and programs, as also network the various stakeholders. With the rising cost of service deliveries, there is a need to boost resource sharing and promote volunteerism so that society can adequately respond to the dissimilar and many needs of our growing aged population. Many schemes have been initiated by the government, and these schemes marks the beginning of the aging population as a target group in national planning and acknowledges the voluntary sector as constituting an important institutional mechanism in providing services accompanying the effect of the state. Thank you.